I don't know how long I was gone, but then I felt something calling to me.
Max, you know you can't talk to me, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, then why do you keep pushing me away? It's like you're not even here anymore. It's like you're a ghost or something. I know something's wrong. Please, Max, just talk to me, to your friends. We're right here. I'm right here. Even a sign would be enough to show me that you're still in there.
I know it's stupid, but I just started to think, what if something happens to me?
Max, baby, nothing is going to happen, baby.
Vecna's curse.
Promise.
It never goes away.
Nothing you don't deserve.
It never leaves you. I mean, of course, this asshole curses me.
Wait, no, Max. Things are gonna work out.
No. No, I don't need you to reassure me right now and tell me that it's all gonna work out, because people have been telling me that my entire life, and it's almost never true.
That is why I am here, Max, to end your suffering once and for all. Follow me into death.
It is time.
Lucas!
Max,
Lucas!
time for you
Lucas!
to join me. It will all be over soon. They can't help you, Max. There's a reason you hide from them.
You will be the chosen one. The final sacrifice. It's going to be you that breaks the world.
You are brave, Maxine.
Please, Max. Please. Wake up. Just something. I miss you.
Max and Lucas, one of the few couples I actually root for throughout the series of Stranger Things. And interestingly enough, when you look back at both of those characters, you can actually see how their stories parallel each other, just in different directions. So while in my previous video I covered theories for both Will and Vecna, in this video I wanted to cover the rise and fall of Max and Lucas. And towards the end of the video, I'll be covering all the different scenarios that could play out in regards to the escape from Camazotz. And let's just say, unless they decide to go the Disney happy family route for all the characters involved, I can think of a pretty bittersweet ending for this lovely couple. But why am I such a fan of this couple? I think because both of these characters bring real-world qualities and struggles to the rest of the dynamics that seem a little more far-fetched and theatrical. What do I mean by this? Well, Lucas as a character is sort of like a fish out of water.
I grew up like in a suburban town and being like maybe one of 4 black kids in the school, and kind of just navigating that, but like always having my friends and people that I loved.
Being a black kid in a white small town is definitely not easy, and the show has already illustrated that he does get some bullying for being black. Having been a black person who lived in a small town myself, while you're not necessarily subjected to endless forms of racism, you are likely to encounter some of those who are more leaning towards the ignorant side. This can either make or break people, and for Lucas, being a Sinclair, it looks like he came out on top. Him starting this entire series off with the most confidence out of all the characters. Dustin, while confident, is a bit dorky and does get embarrassed from time to time, Mike as well, with Will probably being the most shy of the core 4. Yet Lucas isn't afraid to voice his skepticisms in regards to any situations, including 11, and he's not afraid to go and get business done. Out of all of the 4 main kids, he's the one who's taken the most action against some of the demos that they fought. I guess that's excluding Will, who actually popped a shot off on a Demogorgon first try, but still. Out of the core 4, Lucas is the most confident at the beginning of the series. In Season 2, he continues this confidence when approaching Max. While Dustin liked Max as well, he immediately got sidetracked by his new little pet, Dart. Versus Lucas, who continued to try to keep Max indoctrinated within the party, despite Mike desperately pushing her away. Eventually, with circumstances rising, they had to choose to either shun her and keep her excluded from all of the supernatural stuff going on, or fully inform her on everything going on and make her a part of the party officially. And Lucas takes it upon himself to make her feel like she's a part of the party, going out of his way, despite her not believing him and teasing him and mocking him, to try to include her in everything that's going on, despite the life and death risks, which could come back to bite Lucas coming season 5. But in the time that it happened, this was a really good thing for Max, for as a character, while she seemed a little standoffish and isolated, we see that she tends to open up when in a group setting and around people she's comfortable with, almost like two different characters entirely, which is good because her home life probably didn't make her feel so included. Her dad being out of the picture, her mom marrying an abusive guy, and then forced to be a sister to a brother who, as far as she can tell, doesn't actually care about her at all. This clues us into the idea, as well as flashbacks in later seasons, that Max tended to isolate and push people away as a form of keeping her defenses up. But it's obvious she is kind of a lonely person until she comes across the Hawkins kids. And forming a bond with these kids was definitely what Max needed to truly find herself and find some happiness in her life. For more proof of that, you can check out Max's happiest season, which is season 3. Now, I'm personally not a big fan of the season. I feel like it ruined a lot of characters just to make the situation seem a little more dramatic and extravagant, specifically talking about Hopper and Joyce. But some characters definitely got some solid development, like Eleven and more importantly Max. Max, who continued to have a strong relationship with Lucas, strong enough that they were comfortable enough to break up and get back together several times, with Lucas maintaining his confidence all the way through, sure that he would find a way to win back his woman at the end of the day. This was a good example of Lucas's straight up blind confidence, how his own confidence can lead him to not really recognizing different things around him. While Mike tends to flounder and crumble when Eleven breaks up with him, Lucas remains headstrong. And with Max, we get to see her confidence actually grow. She never seems too heartbroken about breaking up with Lucas, and she even finds a best friend to confide in who she didn't necessarily get along with at first, but comes to find that this person is willing to not only listen to her, which the rest of her family sure isn't doing, but also bond with her at the same time. And while you could go over in detail about how this was a solid experience for Eleven to have sort of a normal life for a little bit, for Max, you can tell this was her happiest in the series, truly just enjoying messing around and having fun with the rest of the cast. She gets to remain this happy until her pivotal encounter against Billy in the sauna. From that point forward, she was worried for her safety, and rightfully so, because by the very end, she did end up losing her brother in the Starcourt Mall, not even getting any sort of solid goodbye or closure to their relationship. This begins Max's official regression back to how she was at the beginning of season 2. Isolated, standoffish, and pushing people away or keeping them at an arm's distance. Turns out, bridging the gap to season 4, Max not only saw her new dad start to drink more, she saw her parents split up yet again, and her mom, going through rough conditions, eventually is forced to buy a mobile home and downgrade from the house they owned before. But not only this, her beacon of friendship in 11 had also moved away. And sure, after everything happened, Max tried to be happy for a little bit, but it's obvious, with no true friends to confide in, as there is a difference between boyfriends like Lucas and best friends like Eleven, Max instead had nobody, but not actually, as obviously Dustin and Lucas and Mike were willing to be there for her, inviting her to D&D games and probably doing whatever they could on the side. But at the end of the day, it's obvious she'll never have a relationship with any of them like she did with Eleven, a friend who truly listens to and appreciates her, with Lucas coming the closest to it. And while Max is regressing back to her original state of confidence, this also begins Lucas's downfall in confidence as well. Lucas, who's doing everything he can to become more of a jock and less of an outcast, and build a name for himself despite the fact that he's slowly losing connections with his friends who would prefer to play D&D and bail on moments that are important to him despite them being planned ahead of time. And Max, who is struggling with grief to the point that he doesn't know how to help her. And sure, he reaches out how he can and is ready to support how he can, but it's just not what Max needs at the moment. And if things couldn't get any worse, a new string of violent and gruesome deaths take place in Hawkins. Turns out it's from a wizard named Vecna in the Upside Down, who places a curse on people before brutally killing them. And of all the characters in our cast and crew to get cursed, of course, it's gonna be Max. I think here, when she starts to face her mortality, she begins to step out of her regression and remember where she is and what's important. Still, it takes her full confrontation with Vecna to truly see what matters. Upon being cursed, Max immediately assumes she's not gonna make it. Already dealing with trauma, she isn't high on the hope scale, writing letters to everyone to prepare for the inevitable brutal death. Still, when death knocks at her door in the form of Vecna, she realizes she truly does want to live. And thankfully, despite claiming she wants to face this curse alone, Lucas and her friends stuck by her side. It's during this process that Lucas feels even more out of control, knowing that a girl he likely loves is going to be murdered unless he can figure out a way to stop it. Thankfully, through the power of friendship, music, and happy memories, Max is able to survive her brief encounter with death, finding a penchant for life that you can see illustrated in her small moments with Lucas until eventually she realizes she might have to face those same circumstances again. See, they realize the only way to truly stop Vecna would be to have him be distracted in trying to kill one of the people he's cursed, while others sneak into the Upside Down and take him down. And Max, rather than have some new person filled with trauma be targeted by Vecna and have to deal with this nightmare sequence, decides she's the most equipped to handle this mission altogether. So, despite Lucas's pleads, she decides she's going to be the one to confront death one last time. And this truly could be her last time. Still, they make a plan and they put a contingency in place. Lucas will be on standby right by Max's side with her music ready to go. Should things get bad, he'll be there to help bring her back. But of course, Bryce the Jock shows up and decides he wants to go ahead and ruin things for everybody. Now, from his perspective, he is kind of warranted in a lot of his mission, but not a lot of his actions. And you can see that his insecurities ride high, inevitably leading to a fistfight with Lucas that results in the breaking of Max's music. So not only does Lucas have to fight this guy, but he also has to somehow piece together a new way to bring Max back, considering the last-ditch effort they had is now gone. However, on the polar opposite side of this, Max is stepping up and facing death bravely. Not willing to risk others, she's going in there, finding her happy memories, and even getting aid and reuniting with her best friend 11. Max embracing this mission was a true sign of her growing in confidence. And unfortunately, the steps it took for her to grow in confidence resulted in Lucas losing his. But things get even more rough for the both of them when Vecna and 11 have their duel and Vecna wins, with him committing his final sacrifice and killing Max 98% of the way. And for a brief moment, Max does officially die, going out like a hero but still scared as she did finally find her will to live. And it is one of the most heartbreaking moments of the entire show. That is until 11 decides to pull a Rey Skywalker and bring her back. Only she doesn't truly bring her back. Max comes back in a very comatose state, with no one able to access her mind in any way, shape, or form. And for about 18 months, or however much time has passed between seasons, Lucas waited by her side, hoping for the day that she could finally come back and they could see a movie together. Still, you can see while he's waiting by her side that he's lost full confidence in winning this fight altogether.
Maybe we'll find him tonight.
What do you think, Lucas?
Yeah, I think we'll find him this time for sure.
You want one?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
You can see he's taken a lot of the responsibility that led Max to this situation. He's unsure if she's even alive or dead, and you can see how he would end up placing some of this responsibility on his own shoulders. If not for inviting her into the Hawkins crew altogether despite the risks, then for failing to defend and save her when she stepped back in to go against Vecna. But still, Lucas doesn't stay down in the dumps and does do what needs doing whenever it needs done. Yet that can't help when it comes to facing off with Vecna once more. In protecting the kids that Vecna's after, Lucas fails yet again. And now it seems he has one last final chance to redeem his confidence in protecting Max against the demo dog attack at the hospital. But why are demos going after Lucas? Well, it turns out, while Max has been in this coma, she's actually been residing and running through different memories in Vecna's brain. And while she did come close to reuniting with Lucas and her own body, Circumstances just didn't allow it, and she continued to get chased by Vecna until she found safe harbor within a cave where he first encountered the Mind Flayer. But she's not alone. She's also with Holly Wheeler, who got taken by Vecna at the beginning of the season. Holly, who is going through the same process Will did, likely could develop some sort of powers akin to her D&D character Mike talked about, in dropping dimension doors everywhere. And while that's cool, she does have to be protected by Max, who has fully come into her confidence now, embracing death 3 different times, but still struggling to claw her way back towards life, becoming a fully confident, if not a little crazed, survivor of memories. And if she can find a way to get out of Camazotz, then all Lucas has to do is redeem himself by keeping Max's physical form safe. This brings us to some of my Volume 2 predictions of the show, specifically in regards to escaping Camazotz, Vecna, Holly, Max, and Lucas. So I believe the 4 outcomes for escaping Camazotz are either the best case scenario, Max escapes and reunites with Lucas, who's alive and well at the hospital, while Holly wakes up wherever she is and is actually saved not by her awesome mom Karen, but by her new mom Steve Harrington in the Upside Down. And then Holly goes up to Vecna and tells him to
tell me what to be.
I don't know, just don't be a dick.
And Vecna decides to drop his evil act and everyone holds hands and is all happy, yada yada yada. Worst case scenario, Lucas dies trying to keep Max safe, Robin and Vicky also die trying to do the same, Max tries to escape but fails or even does so and can't even protect herself from a demo that gets her after she comes back, and Holly is left behind or stays behind on purpose and taken by Vecna and experiences a fate worse than Will's. I believe both these scenarios are very unlikely. What's more likely is that we're gonna get something more bittersweet. As we already know, the Duffer said Season 5 will include one of their more brutal deaths. This could actually be in reference to either Max or Lucas. So another possible scenario is that one of these characters don't make it out of Camazotz, as in either during the hospital, Vicky, Robin, or even Lucas dies to the demo dogs, maybe just as Max comes back, or Max fails to escape Camazotz or specifically stays behind and ends up suffering a brutal death. We've already seen her get Vecna'd like 98% of the way, so I'm not quite sure what else could happen to her. And if Max is the one to go, I'll definitely be a little bummed about it. Seems more likely if one or the other were to die, it'd be Lucas, who maybe dies protecting Max and she wakes up to see him bleeding out or something. But I actually believe this scenario is also a little unlikely in comparison to this 4th scenario, which is that Holly ends up staying behind or gets left behind and facing off with Vecna/Henry Creel, while Lucas does successfully protect Max. The only caveat is when Max does return, she still doesn't have any of the eyesight she had before, with it turning out that she took the physical damage she took in Season 4 and there's no way to reverse it. Meaning her and Lucas could never watch that movie at the theater like they wanted to, as we could find that within that scene she still couldn't see despite Vecna no longer being involved. Yet she did end up in Vecna's memories moments later, and we also see that Will gets White's eyes as well. So who's to say? Still, I think a key factor at play in all of this is what kind of memories Max and Holly could run into while trying to escape, as it's very unlikely we'll just get them running through the woods until they can find their way out. No, I think this is going to be the series' take on The First Shadow, the canon play that was sort of a prequel to the series, and that Max and Holly will end up running through Vecna's memories of going to high school, but I also don't think it just stops there. We also may get a look at what exactly happened within the cave when Vecna first encountered the Mind Flayer. Perhaps it's even encountering the Mind Flayer in this cave that forces them to flee and starts off the chase and the escape from Camazotz. It's during all this memory hopping that I theorized Max will actually run into a younger version of Dr. K. Perchance they'll be Dr. Brenner's sister, or they'll be someone completely different and related to the story somehow. But either way, whatever knowledge she gains about Dr. K, she'll take with her to the real world when she ends up escaping. And it's likely Max and Dr. K's confrontation will be key in figuring out more about the Upside Down and how exactly it works. Which there are still a lot of reveals yet to be had there. And it's likely to be answered in Volume 2 of Season 5. And while we ran out of time in this video, if you want to see more theories for where I think Volume 2 could go, you can check out my Will and Vecna video. And if you're interested in seeing one last Stranger Things video from me, I could do one more video covering the characters of the Upside Down, talking about Dustin and Steve's relationship, Nancy and Jonathan's bittersweet proposal, Calais betraying and facing off against Eleven, and what big creature residing within the Upside Down could be unleashed. Still, if you liked this video, I'd want to hear your theories on where Volume 2 could go. A like and a comment mean a lot of support, but I'm also interested in what your perspective for where the story is going could actually be. In my head, I'm rooting for the show to get a little more dark. Still, there was a vibe and creepiness to Season 1 that I just haven't seen in Season 5 or even Season 4. Either way, let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching this far, and remember to stay right side up.